This is Latino USA, the radio journal of news and cultura.
It's Latino USA.
It's Latino USA.
Latino USA. I'm Maria Hinojosa. We bring you stories that are underreported, but that matter to you, overlooked by the rest of the media.
And while the country is struggling to deal with these
We
problems,
listen to the stories of Black and Latino students.
A united Latino front.
a cultural renaissance.
Organizing at the forefront of the movement. I'm Maria Hinojosa. No se vayan.
Woman is special. All the women have a lot of power. You can do everything. You can work, you can take the children. You have to be strong in your mind and you have to say, I can do it. I will do it. I am the boss. So whatever you want, do it.
From Futuro Media and PRX, it's Latino USA. I'm Maria Hinojosa. Today, how one mother dreamed of superstardom but waited decades to get there. Performer Mimy Succar and her producer and son, Tony. Mimy Succar, a talented singer and performer, burst onto the music scene in 2023 with her debut solo album, Mimy and Tony, a collaboration with her son, Tony Succar. And yet, it took her decades to get there. The Japanese-Peruvian family moved to Miami from Peru in the late 1980s. Mimy had a small musical group with her husband, Antonio, when their kids were young. But with 3 children, her dreams of superstardom were put on hold as she dedicated her days to her family. And then one day, her children, Claudia, Tony, and Kenji, started showing interest in the band, and they began to sit in. Tony, now an accomplished percussionist, composer, and producer, achieved success very young when in 2019, at the age of 33, he won the coveted Producer of the Year Award and Best Salsa Album at the Latin Grammys. So, more than 3 decades after Mimy's arrival in Miami, the critically acclaimed album, Mimy and Tony, was released and nominated for a Grammy in 2024. It includes some collaborations with heavy hitters like La India, Orquesta de la Luz, and Jose Alberto el Canario. Today, Mimy and Tony show us how with the right timing and your family, nothing can get in the way of your dreams.
My name is Mimy Succar. I'm from Lima, Peru, but ¿cómo se dice la ascendencia?
My ancestors.
My ancestors from Japan.
And I am Tony Succar, and I am Mimy Succar's son. That means I am from also Japanese descent. Was born in Peru, but my father is Spanish, Lebanese, and Mexican, also born in Peru.
Nikkei for us is the person that we have Japanese ascendants, but we born in another country. I consider that we are a very special people, Nikkei, because we have both Japanese and Peruvian. A lot of my generation doesn't speak Japanese. My grandfathers talk to us in Japanese, but we answer in Spanish. En la Segunda Guerra Mundial,
World War II.
Peru was aliado
Peru was an ally.
with USA. Our grandfathers, very difficult for them para sobrevivir.
It was very difficult to survive in
But
Peru
In Peru, no?
because there was a lot of discrimination
Yeah.
towards the Japanese people in Peru at the time. That's why you didn't learn the language.
Yes. Conservamos siempre the Japanese tradition. But we have also the sabor, the happiness, the very friendly, because the Latin people is like this. Dejaste tanta poesía en el corazón de mi Perú. I always love to sing all my life.
Mirando cosas viejas, hallé un poema.
I start to sing in Japanese. Our grandparents always wants to hear the Japanese music. Then when I meet my husband, that he played the piano, we have a little band in Peru, but Peru was very, very difficult. In the 89, more or less, we don't see any future for our children. I have 3 kids, right? So the whole family came here. I have an aunt that lived long time here, and she told me, Mimy, why you don't have a group of music with your husband like you make in Peru? We have to learn more Cuban music, merengue, salsa, cumbia, everything. We don't have anybody to help. That's why I said, it's okay. I have a band here. On the weekends, it's good. But yeah, the other level will be very difficult. Maybe my husband and me have to fly to concerts another country, and how can my children be? So I said, maybe in the future, but now, no, my children is more important.
Now she's 64 and she's nominated to a Grammy, and now her children pushing her forward, and she gets to enjoy this moment in such a gratifying way.
Sonaba un disco viejo y me llegó hasta el alma.
Tony and my children born in that ambiente, como se dice?
You were born in that atmosphere.
In that atmosphere for the music. Because we always have to ensayar. Rehearse in our house.
I started showing interest in music, I think I was like 4 or 5 years old. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a soccer player. But then when I got into real music, like in terms of being an actual professional in it, everything changed.
And he wants to play something with us.
I started playing actual drums at the age of 13. It's definitely something I liked to do.
We saw that Tony has something special for the music. We said with my husband, Tony will be different because we are here for him.
My mom and my dad and my whole family, my wife, everybody was in function of let's support Tony.
You have to be responsible and disciplined. This is a career.
Never did they ever say he's gonna do maybe an album with his mom. Nobody. And my dad was the only one that was like, Tony, you should do something with your mom eventually. I was thinking about her as my mom, I gotta help her financially with this thing, or I gotta help her with something with the house. The internet went out, I gotta go fix the internet. The moment I was in The Voice Senior, my mom did that surprise.
Ella es Mimy, la mamá de Tony. Mimy llegó desde Miami para sorprender a Tony Succar.
It was a big moment. It made me reflect on many things. That's when I was like, you know what, I'm going to honor them with at least producing a song. So that's how it all started. All of a sudden, this huge album came about it.
In Japanese, we have a word that says oyakoko. Oyakoko means that the children has to be very grateful with the parents. We always respect a lot our parents, our grandparents. And for me, that Tony and Kenji make for me this beautiful album, and they produce with love. When Tony was working on the album, he told me, Mom, I want you to sing something in Japanese. Why you don't sing the song that you always sing to us? The Sukiyaki. Sukiyaki was a Japanese song that was very famous in the 70s, in the 60s.
It was written during the Second World War, so there was a lot of trauma. So it was a song to just pick everybody back up.
Sukiyaki, the meaning of that song is esperanza, hope. Sukiyaki is a food.
It's a really delicious plate of food of meat, and it has nothing to do with the original meaning or lyrics of the song. The meaning is actually look to the sky so your teardrops don't fall. And the song's name was Uemuite Aruko. There was an artist that he was British. He did a cover to that song in an instrumental version, and when he went to his label and they're like, what's the name of the song? He's like, Uemuite Aruko. And they were like, get any name, put it on. And like, wow, I really love that sukiyaki dish, you know? But he was like, oh, sukiyaki, I like that. The song became a huge hit.
And in Japan now is very famous again because the old people remember that song.
To record the music video in Japan was amazing. Like, I think it was one of the most epic experiences of my life.
When he told me to make a video in Japan, I said, oh my gosh, it will be wonderful.
I really finally was able to feel connected with my true culture because although I'm Peruvian, right, or I'm Miamian, like very tropical, very Latino, I have things that are in my heart that are part of like my DNA that is Japanese.
They are very methodic, disciplined, very perfect, everything perfect.
I felt finally like, wow, like this is, now I understand why I'm like this. Like there's other people that are like this as well and that look like me. It was probably one of the most life-transforming experiences that I was able to have, and it would have never happened if I wouldn't have done this project.
My first album that is exitoso, successful is because my producers, my children produced this with love. So always will be with my family.
It's a business for us now, right? So we're able to inspire people like crazy around the world.
The people connect with us, right? The family is the most important in the life.
I think she's leaving a legacy that's much bigger than what she ever thought she could. And I think that's the best reward. Now she has her own career, you know, she just recorded with Gloria Estefan, like, and Sheila E., and that's pretty amazing.
Los tiempos de Dios son perfectos, ¿cómo se dice?
God's timing is perfect.
It's perfect. God wants to salir al mundo.
He wants you to show yourself that you're in the world.
In the world, but with my sons, with my children.
No te quedes sentado pensando en el pasado, porque quien solo llora.
I've learned a lot through her without really paying attention to it, just as a subconscious. I'm super thankful and proud. I'm here because of her and her sacrifice as well as a mom, and I have to do that same thing with my dad because he's like the motor behind this entire thing, and excited of what's to come.
Tony, thank you very much for all the support, all the sacrifice to give me this present to be escrito in our life.
Written down in the history of our life.
In the history of our family. You can do everything. You have to be strong in your mind and you have to say, I can do it. I will do it. You never have to forget how you start. If I start with my family at the end of my life. For me, this is my Grammy.
Con Tony y Mimy Succar. Vive y sueña, siempre libre a tu manera. Este es el momento, no pierdas el tiempo, que el pasado allá se queda.
This episode was produced by Jeannie Montalvo and edited by Haley Sanchez. It was mixed by Julia Caruso. The Latino USA team includes Victoria Estrada, Reynaldo Leaños Jr., Andrea Lopez Cruzado, Glorimar Marquez, Marta Martinez, Mike Sargent, Noor Saudi, and Nancy Trujillo. Benilei Ramirez is our co-executive producer. Our director of engineering is Stephanie LeBeau. Our marketing manager is Luis Luna. Our theme music was composed by Zenia Rubinos. I'm your host and executive producer, Maria Hinojosa. Join us again on our next episode. And in the meantime, look for us on all of our social media. I'll see you there. Hasta la próxima. No te vayas. Ciao.
Funding for Latino USA's coverage of A Culture of Health is made possible in part by a grant from the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. Latino USA is made possible in part by the Tao Foundation and W.K. Kellogg Foundation, a partner with communities where children come first.
Satisfactory family. Claro. Satisfactory family.
Bueno, yo no sé.
Let's go.